Marcus Ashford sat alone at a corner table in the small cafe, staring at the single cupcake in front of him with one flickering candle. Today was his 35th birthday, and this was his celebration. Just him, a coffee, and a dessert he'd ordered for himself because there was no one else to do it. As CEO of Ashford Digital, Marcus had everything money could buy. A penthouse, luxury cars, investments that grew while he slept. What he didn't have was anyone to share it with. His assistant had sent the standard company birthday email. His parents were traveling in Europe. The woman he'd been casually dating had broken things off last week, citing his emotional unavailability. So here he was, in a neighborhood cafe far from his usual haunts, wearing jeans and a simple button-down instead of his usual designer suits. Anonymous, invisible, alone on his birthday. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" Marcus looked up to see a young woman in the cafe's uniform. Blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, apron tied around a simple white shirt. She carried a notepad, but wasn't there to take his order. "No, go ahead," Marcus said, assuming she was on break, instead of sitting. She placed a small piece of paper beside his cupcake. "My shift ends in 10 minutes. I couldn't help but notice you're celebrating alone. If you'd like company for coffee, I'll be free. No pressure." Before Marcus could respond, she'd walked back to the counter to help another customer. He looked at the paper, just a first name, Lily, and a smiley face. Marcus considered leaving. This was probably pity. She'd seen the sad man eating a birthday cupcake by himself and felt sorry for him. But something about her directness, the lack of pretense, made him curious. When Lily's shift ended, she changed out of her work apron and joined him at the table, carrying 2 fresh coffees. "Happy birthday," she said simply. "I'm Lily. I promise I'm not a stalker. I just figured nobody should eat birthday cake alone. How did you know it was my birthday?" She pointed at the cupcake. "The candle. People don't usually order candles for random desserts." I took a guess. "Good observation. I'm Marcus, and thank you for this. It's kind." They talked easily. Lily asked about his work, and Marcus found himself being vague, describing himself as working in tech without mentioning his title or company. She told him she was 28, working at the cafe while raising her 6-year-old daughter Emma as a single mother. "The father's not in the picture?" Marcus asked carefully. "Never was. I got pregnant young. He disappeared. I made the best of it. Emma's the best thing that ever happened to me. Even if the circumstances weren't ideal." Marcus found her honesty refreshing. No pretense, no performance. Just straightforward truth about her life. "So why are you spending your birthday alone?" Lily asked gently. "If you don't mind me asking." Marcus hesitated. "I have people in my life, colleagues, acquaintances, but no one who really knows me. I work a lot. I'm not good at letting people in, so birthdays tend to be quiet." Lily studied him with perceptive eyes. "That sounds lonely." "I know that kind of lonely. It's different than being alone. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely unseen." "Exactly," Marcus said, surprised she understood. "How do you know that?" "Because I felt it for years. Working multiple jobs, raising Emma, surrounded by people all day, but feeling like no one really saw me as a person. Just a waitress, just a single mum, just someone fulfilling a role. It's exhausting." They talked for 2 hours, until the cafe started closing. Marcus learned Lily was taking online classes to become a paralegal, that Emma loved dinosaurs, that Lily's dream was to provide her daughter with the stability she'd never had growing up. This might be forward, Marcus said, as they prepared to leave. "But would you have dinner with me? A real dinner, not just coffee? I'd like to get to know you better." Lily smiled. "I'd like that, but, fair warning, I don't have a lot of free time between work, Emma, and classes, and I can't afford fancy restaurants. I'm not looking for fancy. I'm looking for real. When are you free?" They met 3 days later at a casual restaurant Lily chose. She brought Emma, explaining her sitter had cancelled and offering to reschedule. "Don't reschedule," Marcus said. "I'd like to meet Emma." Dinner was chaotic and wonderful. Emma chatted about dinosaurs, showing Marcus her toy Stegosaurus. Lily mediated with patient humor, while managing her daughter's energy and trying to have adult conversation. Marcus found himself more relaxed than he'd been in years. This was so different from his usual dates with polished professionals who scheduled romance around business meetings. This was messy and real, and somehow perfect. Over the next months, Marcus and Lily dated carefully. He still hadn't told her the full truth about his wealth or position. Part of him knew he should, but he was afraid she'd see him differently. Here, as just Marcus who works in tech, he was valued for himself. Lily introduced him to a different world, community parks instead of country clubs, home-cooked meals instead of expensive restaurants, the simple joy of reading bedtime stories to Emma, of helping with homework, of being part of a small family's daily routine. 4 months into their relationship, Lily's laptop broke. She was devastated because she couldn't afford to replace it, and needed it for her classes. "I can help with that," Marcus offered. "I can't accept expensive gifts. We talked about this. It's not a gift. It's an investment in your future, which I'm hoping includes me." Lily looked at him carefully. "Marcus, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Are you hiding something? Sometimes you seem uncomfortable when I ask about your work. Are you married? In trouble? What aren't you telling me?" The moment of truth. Marcus took a breath. "I'm not married. I'm not in trouble. But I haven't been completely honest about my work. I don't just work in tech. I own the company, Ashford Digital. I'm the CEO." Lily stared at him. "You're Marcus Ashford? The Marcus Ashford? I've seen you in business articles. You're worth millions." "Yes, and I didn't tell you because I wanted someone to see me, not my bank account. Everyone, in my usual world, wants something from me. You just wanted to have coffee with someone who looked lonely on their birthday." Lily stood up, pacing her small living room. "So what? You've been slumming it, playing normal guy with the poor single mum." "No, I've been being myself, more myself than I've been in years. Everything with you has been real, Lily, the most real thing in my life, but you lied about who you are." I omitted parts. "I never lied about what matters. I love you. I love Emma. I love the life we're building. The money doesn't change that." Lily sat back down, processing. "Why didn't you tell me before now?" "Because I was afraid of this. Afraid you'd see me differently, that you'd either want me for my money or push me away because of it. I just wanted to be Marcus. You're Marcus." They talked for hours, working through the trust issue. Lily admitted she was scared of the wealth gap, afraid she couldn't fit into his world. Marcus admitted he didn't want his old world, that what he wanted was this small family who'd taught him what actually mattered. A year later, Marcus proposed, not with an expensive ring that would intimidate Lily, but with his grandmother's modest engagement ring that had more meaning than money. They married in the same cafe where they'd met, Marcus having rented it for the evening. Emma was flower girl. The guest list was small. People who mattered. not people who impressed. Marcus sold his penthouse and bought a comfortable family home in Lily's neighborhood. He restructured his work schedule to be present for dinners and bedtime stories. He funded Lily's education fully, and she graduated as a paralegal while Emma cheered from the audience. On Marcus's 38th birthday, 3 years after that lonely cupcake, he woke to Emma jumping on his bed and Lily carrying in pancakes with candles. "Make a wish, Daddy Marcus," Emma shouted. Marcus looked at his family, at the life he'd built by being vulnerable enough to let someone see his loneliness. "I don't need to wish," he said. "I already have everything I want." The waitress who'd recognized a lonely man on his birthday had given him more than company. She'd given him the courage to be real, to be seen, to value connection over achievement. And in doing so, she'd shown him that the richest life isn't measured in money, but in the people who genuinely know and love you. If this story touched you, like, share, and subscribe. Comment about finding real connection in unexpected places.